But remember, also, I want you to know that Jimmy Dore screamed about how horrible it was to have new IRS hires. How it was impossible to imagine. The data is in. And there has been no uptick in audits of low-income people, but there has been a big uptick in audits of millionaires. Big uptick.
Jimmy Dore has been one of the favorite targets of Sam Seder and the Majority Report over the years, as Jimmy Dore has made a heel turn from left-winger to cozying up to guys like Tucker Carlson so he can get in on their grift. In this video, we're going to break down one of the latest examples of Jimmy Dore doing this. Sam Seder on the Majority Report broke this down with Jimmy Dore. I'll share my thoughts from time to time as well. Let's check this out together.
But here, if you want to push Donald Trump and you're desperate to find anything to do so, now that Joe Biden's out, Jimmy Dore will show you what you do.
Easy it was for Donald Trump to out-left the Democrats because the Democrats aren't left. The Democrats are now what used to be called a right-wing party. They're pro-corporations, they're anti-worker, they're pro-war, they're anti-universal health care, they're anti-bodily autonomy, they're pro-censorship. That's what used to be considered right-wing positions when I was a kid. Now it's flipped. Now the Democrats are completely all those things. So here's Trump out-lefting the Democrats by coming up with the idea to take taxes.
Incidentally, if you listen to Donald Trump and his conversation with Elon Musk, they were bragging about firing people who were striking.
I didn't see that.
They were bragging about it.
Anti-universal health care, they're anti-bodily autonomy, they're pro-censorship. That's what used to be considered right-wing.
I'm sorry. I don't know if he's abandoned the use of single-payer health care. There is a difference between universal health care and single-payer health care. Universal health care means that you have everybody covered under health insurance. Single-payer is a mechanism in which you would do that. Now, in terms of universal health care, the fact of the matter is that the Democratic Party, through the so-called Affordable Care Act, is insuring far more people than 10 years ago, essentially when it was rolled out. Increase in Medicaid enrollment, increase under Obamacare. I think we still have a significant portion of people uninsured, but it is way down from where it was in 2014. In 2014, it was, I don't know how many people we had, but it was 45 million uninsured, and we close. I mean, you're talking probably 15%. Now I think we're in single digits. But the point is, it's incredibly expensive, and in many instances, it's garbage.
The chat is puzzled because they're wondering, what does he mean when he says that the Democrats are now anti-bodily autonomy? And
well,
the
that
answer
is
to that little riddle.
Yes.
I wonder about that as well, and we'll see. We'll get into this more, I believe. But yeah, Sam is right. The Affordable Care Act, it has improved a lot. We still need Medicare for all. If you're somebody who doesn't get insurance through your employer and you have to get it on the marketplace, your insurance, it's not great. The coverage isn't great, and the prices are high. But the distinction that Sam Seder is making here with what Jimmy Dore said is correct.
I was going to get to that. By that, he means it's okay for the Republican Party to take away an individual right that has existed for 50 years as long as it's women. But when it comes to saying that you need a vaccination for public policy, for public health, that's what he's talking about. When he says bodily autonomy, he is saying, I'm anti-vax.
Yep.
Okay, so I've seen a lot of these Jimmy Dore clips, and I didn't realize that myself. So that's a good distinction that Sam Seder is making there. You thought he was talking about abortion, Jimmy Dore.
Just for folks who aren't caught up.
Yep. It may have been a while since you've tuned into Jimmy Dore.
So So here's Trump saying it, and then guess what? Kamala Harris is now saying it. Remember I said how easy it was for Donald Trump?
Go back a little bit. Remember also, I want you to know that Jimmy Dore screamed about how horrible it was to have new IRS hires. How it was impossible to imagine. The data is in. And there has been no uptick in audits of low-income people, but there has been a big uptick in audits of millionaires. Big uptick.
People with mortgages.
Because for Donald Trump to out-left the Democrats, because the Democrats aren't left. The Democrats are now what used to be called a right-wing party. They're pro-corporations, they're anti-worker, they're pro-war, they're anti-universal health care, they're anti-bodily autonomy, they're pro-censorship. That's what used to be considered right-wing positions when I was a kid. Now it's flipped. Now the Democrats are completely all those things. So here's Trump out-lefting the Democrats by coming up with the idea to take taxes off of tipped wages.
Because when I get to office, we are going to not charge taxes on tips, people making tips.
So that's June 9th he said that.
The interesting thing is that he says tips, people making tips. And again, if you look at Ted Cruz's legislation, who could be getting tips is extremely malleable. Right. Extremely malleable. It's not just service workers. It's not just waiters and waitresses. It's not just people working at hotels, cleaning rooms and this and that. It could be hedge funders. Could be doctors. Could be
politicians. Politicians getting tips. Donations would be quote unquote tips.
Lawyers. Hey, I get a discount. Here you go. It costs I'm $750 an hour for my services, but I'll tell you what. It's $650 an hour if you give me 400 of that as a tip. That's the way it's going to work.
And Sam Seder is exactly correct about this. You think Donald Trump really cares about service workers and the Republican Party really cares about service workers? No. This is going, it's not going to happen, but if this happened, the range of people who would receive tips would be much more than just servers in restaurants, as Sam Seder is saying here. This would be a way to help out Donald Trump's rich buddies and the Republican Party's donors. Now, with Jimmy Dore here, does he have somewhat of a point in his criticism of the Democratic Party? I believe he does. The Democrats, the Republicans have moved so far to the right, and I'm not even talking since Donald Trump went down the golden escalator. I'm talking for decades now. And the Democrats have now moved right and filled in some of the space that was kind of left by the Republicans. So we basically have a far-right party and in the Republicans and a center to center-right party in the Democratic Party. In, Europe and some other countries in the world, the Republicans would not be considered a liberal or progressive party at all. That said, they're still way better than the current Republican Party that we have, and which is led by Donald Trump, a party that's trying to ban abortion, that would get, as flawed as the Affordable Care Act is, Donald Trump and MAGA and the Republicans would get rid of the Affordable Care Act entirely and go back to a time when people have to deal with pre-existing conditions and all of that. So as flawed as Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, has been, it has helped a lot of people. Should we have Medicare for all? I believe so. So Jimmy Dore has some points, but as Sam Seder is pointing out here, the Republicans are, and led by Donald Trump and MAGA, are so much worse. So much of this is disingenuous on Jimmy Dore's part. It's all a grift for Jimmy Dore, which is something that Sam Seder has been pointing out for a long time, and I'm trying to point out here on my show. Let me know in the comments what you think about Jimmy Dore. Is he just a grifter, or does he have some good points here? Or do you agree with what Sam Seder Seder is having to say. Make sure to let me know in the comments. Leave me a like and subscribe as well. I'm growing really quickly on this channel. I'm trying to get to 25,000 subscribers here soon. And it's all because of your likes, your subscribes, your comments, and your viewing of my videos. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so. That'll help me to continue to grow out the channel and bring out more content like this, hopefully exposing more pundits who previously identified as progressive but who've now joined the right wing grift. This is Chris on Culture. I will see you in the next video.